Welcome to Mondays with Melissa. Today I want to talk about a very specific exemption that the Medicaid program offers to caretaker children. So when you are applying for Medicaid in a nursing home, as most of you know, there's a 5-year look back. So Medicaid looks at what you've given away over the prior 5 years, and they calculate a penalty or a time period that you won't be eligible for Medicaid benefits in a nursing home because of what you gave away and the value of it. But there is a special exemption called the Caretaker Child Exemption, and that pertains only to the home. And what it is if you have a child living with you for at least 2 years prior to your need for nursing home care, you can transfer that home to that child without any Medicaid penalties at all. And what you need to provide to Medicaid to prove Caretaker Child Exemption is a birth certificate for that child, because it can't be a stepchild or a grandchild or a niece or a nephew. It has to be a child. And also the child's tax returns for the last 2 years. Medicaid is not entitled to actually see the tax return, so all we provide is the first page to show that that is the address that the child is using on their tax returns. That's what we need to submit to the Department of Social Services to prove the Caretaker Child Exemption is acceptable in that scenario. So if you have a home that's worth $600,000 or $700,000, you can protect that home completely from Medicaid if you have a caretaker child and you transfer the house to that child. Now, there's a lot more that can go into this conversation, because maybe you have 5 children and you want to leave your home to all 5 of your children when you pass away, but it makes sense to utilize the Caretaker Child Exemption to protect the home in a situation where there's an urgent need for Medicaid in a nursing home and nothing has been done to protect the asset the 5 years prior. So it's a great exemption to be able to utilize if it fits your particular situation, and it's very important to make sure, again, that you're giving your attorney all of the information about what's going on in your family, so that we can be sure we know that there's a child living in the home. There is no requirement to prove what type of caretaking is happening. The idea that the child's been with you for those 2 years prior to nursing home care, that it's likely that they were the reason you were able to stay home, and that is where the exempt transfer allowance really comes from. So Caretaker Child Exemption, special exemption for nursing home Medicaid, being able to protect the entire home with absolutely no Medicaid penalty. So keep that in mind. Like, share, and subscribe so you can get great tidbits like this every week, and we'll see you next week.